Go ahead.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Matt Ramirez. I'm a member of the board of AAACE. Today, I'm really excited. We've got a special guest with us, Yvette Davis. She's the Senior Stakeholder Liaison Representative from the IRS, and she is based in Charlotte. She does have a intro slide, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about her background, but I'm really excited that she's able to join us today. Particularly with just the oddness, and I think I'm using a very polite word to describe 2020, the oddness of 2020, and some of the complexities and changes to the tax code. So she'll be going through some of those changes with us. We will ask. There will be opportunities for you to ask questions. You can certainly ask questions in the chat, and I will try to read those out as they come in. But with such a small group, if you wanted to unmute and ask questions as we go through, I don't think that would be too difficult, although we may just ask you to mute if there's a lot of background noise. So with that, Yvette, thank you again for joining us. I'm really excited about this, and I guess I'll turn it over
Thanks.
to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. And I just want to say thank you to Terry as well, and to all of you with the AAACE. I have to make sure I get all my A's in there. I am very, very grateful for this opportunity to speak to everyone today. And because it's such a small group, let's just kind of make this conversational, if you will. And, if you have questions, feel free to jot them in the chat, as Matt said, and or just come off mute, and we'll just kind of manage it that way. And because I've got information I want to share with you, but if there's something tax related that is just a burning question in your mind, I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little bit about a lot. Yeah, something like that. I would love to be able to help you and guide you to the resources that you need to kind of make your lives a little bit easier, if you will. COVID-19 has been especially challenging for all of us. And so I can greatly appreciate that. And because of that, there are a lot of different changes that's come about because of it, because of COVID-19. And there's some things tax updates that I'm going to share with you today that hopefully will be able to help you share information not only amongst yourselves within your respective organizations, but also maybe even beyond that with your family members for the information that I'll just kind of run through a little bit at the end. But again, my name is Yvette Davis. I work out of the Charlotte, North Carolina office. I work mainly with tax professionals and various industry organizations, whether it's an educational realm or even construction realm, cosmetology. So you name it, I'll speak to it. And share information in as much as possible to kind of, as I said, make your lives a little bit easier, because ultimately my goal is to increase voluntary compliance. My goal is to give information to our small businesses where it's needed, because there's so much information out there from the IRS that's just not known. And in my opinion, knowledge is power, and when you have it, you know how to use it to your benefit, and you can share that information and share that knowledge. So with that said, and I've been with the service now for 32 years. I started off in collections, so I was a revenue officer. So I've now been on both ends of the spectrum, if you will. And as you can probably imagine, when I was in collections as a revenue officer, I was never invited anywhere by anybody for any reason. So this is always a pleasure for me. And with that, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And I do want to say thank you to Terry and her team for actually posting this message on your social media platform. Because again, as a result of COVID-19, the IRS was given the opportunity to suspend temporarily limits on charitable contributions. And as most of you are probably 501c3, or you are associated with 501c3s, if you have issues with donors during this time because everything is kind of tight, this should be something that you can actually share with them to let them know, hey, as an individual, 100% of your adjusted gross income can be donated as a charitable contribution to our group, and you can actually get 100% of that in return, 100, up to 100% of your taxable income in return for you when you file your taxes next year. And this is going to go on through the end of this year. Okay, so and then for corporations, if you've got partnerships with corporations who may want to make some type of a donation to you, they too can get in on the fund, and they can qualify for a 25% charitable contribution without having to be taxed on that income, right? So 100% of the adjusted gross income for individuals, 25% taxable income for corporations. Those dollars can come directly to you, to your 501c3, be donated, and they can actually get a benefit on the back end in 2021 when they file their taxes. So I thought that was a great opportunity for those folks who, again, are looking for donations, because especially now everything is kind of tight and everyone's kind of looking at their pocketbooks a little bit differently, and they're trying to hold on to as many dollars as possible. This is an opportunity to help out our charities, as well as the individuals and the corporations, to kind of keep some money in their pockets while helping these charities who are in so.
Come on, you guys.
Yes, Matt, are you saying something?
No, I think that might be Wayne. I'm trying to
Oh,
figure out if I can mute him or.
yeah.
Oh, nope. Thank
Okay.
you, Terry.
All right. And these charitable contributions, they have to be made in cash to qualify, and they must be made to a qualifying organization. And again, these donations can be made throughout 2020. December 31st, 2020 is the last time that you can actually qualify for 100% as an individual or 25% as a corporation. And again, on our website, we've actually got a tool that you can use to determine what a qualified organization looks like. We've got a website for our charitable, that lists actually charitable organizations who are qualified for you to make these donations to. All right. Again, if you want to get that 100% or that 25%, then you have to make sure it's a cash contribution. The flip side of that, even though non-cash property does not qualify for this relief, even if they donate some type of a property, then even with this, with COVID-19, with this, you can actually still get 60% of that, as far as 60% of the fair market value of whatever that property is, and you can list that as a charitable contribution. So even in property or something that is a non-cash donation, there's still a benefit to be had there. Again, this is only for, as of right now, only for 2020. After December 31st, 2020, then the deduction is going to go back to the original 60%, unless they extend this, which sometimes they actually do that. I mentioned our charitable, our charity tool, search tool, because just like anything else, there are criminals out there who are looking to actually take advantage of the hard times, if you will. During the filing season, it's inevitable that the scams are going to come out the woodwork. People are going to try to impersonate the IRS. People are going to try to, for those of you who may have received or know someone who's received an economic impact payment, there are new scams about people trying to take those economic impact payments. It's the same thing with charitable contributions, with charities. There are fake charities out there. So the IRS created a tool that you can use to actually check the legitimacy of an organization. that you're dealing with. And if you want to check, if you are a 501c3, go to our website at irs.gov/TEOS and just check it out and see where you fall on that actual on that search tool to make sure, number one, that your 501c3 is intact, and number two, that you're actually on that list. Again, this is where we send folks, because we'll inevitably get an email. We've gotten several about charities that that's popped up over the last, since April, May of this year, all in the name of the COVID-19, all in the name of an economic impact payment. And many of those charities, unfortunately, are proven to be criminals. They're just trying to figure out a way to get into the pockets of the American people, and they're actually taking the COVID-19 pandemic, and they're trying to profit off of that. So again, this is something that we wanted to make you all aware of, to make sure that you actually share this information with those folks you are in relation with as well, so that your organization can actually be the beneficiary of the 100% charitable contribution that I just mentioned a moment ago, and you won't have to worry about trying to help them track down something because a criminal actually stepped in and took advantage of that. www.irs.gov/TEOS. And also, this is just another slide I wanted to share, because again, just like I mentioned with the during the filing season, how criminals come out of the woodworks, there are so many folks out there who are hurting due to COVID-19, and the IRS is just trying their best to make sure everyone is aware that there are these schemes out here. But there are really, truly legitimate charities who they can actually reach out to and make those donations to during this time as well. And the TEOS, tax exempt organizations, is what that is. All right. So once again, this is the coronavirus, the scams. When it comes to the IRS and communicating with our taxpayers, whether it's about filing season, anything related to tax changes and tax law updates, the IRS is not going to contact you and via phone and say, hey, you owe this, or hey, if you pay this fee, then we'll give you this information, or hey, if you give us your bank account information, we'll help you get your economic impact payments or stimulus, as some folks call it, that much quicker. The IRS is not going to make those phone calls. They're not going to contact you, and they're not going to say, okay, if you pay a fee for this, or get. I think the craziest thing I've heard in the last couple of years is that someone actually called and asked a taxpayer to go out and get one of those prepaid cards to like Starbucks. And I love Starbucks, don't get me wrong, but what does that have to do with taxes? Nothing. But if you're someone and you're unaware and you just don't know any better, unfortunately, when folks hear IRS, they get very nervous and they basically do whatever to try to make it right. And these scammers, they understand that and they know this, so that's why they prey on those who don't know, and they're going to continue to do so. Why? Because it's $1 billion industry for them. They make money off of this every single year, no matter what the season. All right. So irs.gov/coronavirus to find out other scams that's come about if you want to learn about that. Let me just mention this. They send emails. They send letters. Okay. They will try to appear as if they are one of your organizations, for example, they'll spoof the email to kind of make it look like it's coming from someone that you're familiar with, and they'll ask you, they'll say, hi, whomever, I hope all is well, so to speak. Just wanted to kind of get some information from you about blah, so that so that we can get some information to this charity over here. Click this link below and it'll lead you to where you need to go to update some information, or it'll be something just as simple as that. And unfortunately, there are so many people who are vulnerable enough to just kind of click on that link. So please, please, please share this message with your folks, and make sure you are aware yourself as far as your business is concerned, and as far as you are concerned individually in your own homes. Make sure you are alert about this, okay? And if you're not sure, always go to irs.gov and research it for yourself. And now you can just give me a call and I'll let you know, okay? So with charitable contributions, of course, you can always find out more information in publication 526, 561, or if you have questions about a charity, this is a number, 1-800-829-3676, and they will actually help you nail down whether or not a charity is legitimate or not. So you can kind of give them a call, and they can actually send you any of these publications at no cost. If you like that information on hand, okay? All right, so in keeping with your organization, AAACE, I thought that tax credit information would be something that would pique your interest as well. And this is, again, one of those social media images that Terry shared on your social media pages. So thank you again. But with the lifetime learning credit, you're probably familiar with this. A lot of folks don't understand that with the AOTC, the American Opportunity Tax Credit, and the lifetime learning credit, it can help folks save on paying for school. For me, my children are now 25, almost 26 and 23. And this is something that we were fortunate enough that they could actually take advantage of. And the good thing about this is that this is money that can be used for higher education, or to even help pay for professional courses. So we're not talking about just 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Again, this is something that I don't know that everyone, if you're familiar with the lifetime learning credit, if they're actually understanding that they can actually take advantage of these education credits. So please just kind of take a moment, if you will, and just kind of go to our website and just look at it for yourselves, just to see whether or not this is something that you can actually use yourselves, or actually apply or share with someone else that you are working with, whether it's one of your colleagues or one of your partners. They may benefit from just knowing about these lifetime learning credits, the AOTC, and the lifetime learning credit, that is. Right.
Yvette, if I could interject for a second as well.
Yeah.
For some of the folks on, I believe on the call, they work in community outreach programs. So if if you're aware of someone who may have been job displaced because of COVID, this is a great opportunity for them to potentially take some courses and get some reskilling.
Most definitely. Thanks, Matt. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And now I'm understanding that there are several opportunities for folks out there. And there are several colleges and universities who are waiving different fees for you. They are waiving and they've reduced their fees for each credit per credit hour. This is just, in my opinion, again, a great opportunity for someone to kind of retool, or even learn something, or go into a direction that they've been thinking about forever and a day. I know for me, One of the things that I've decided to do is to go back and get some additional. I'm going to go back to school for nutrition. I'm of a certain age now, and I feel that there are some things that's happening in my life that I need to know more about. And I've found at least 2 or 3 colleges who are willing to work with me to bring in some of the old college credits that I have. And they're actually talking about they've waived the fee, the application fee, the GRE and all of that stuff. Those things are waived. And again, this is just a great opportunity, even in the midst of COVID with the pandemic. I like to look at the silver lining, and for those folks who are looking to further their education, this could be one of those silver linings. So that's a great point, Matt. Okay, and even for our students, we've got tax credits for education that um, where it's going to help them, even if they're experiencing some type of a disruption in their learning. Just like there are several colleges in North and South Carolina where the semester was basically cut short, but then they still had some expenses that they had to pay. And there's money out there for them to actually still help them pay for those expenses. But again, knowledge is power. If they didn't know about it, then they couldn't take advantage of these credits. And specifically our college students in South Carolina, a lot of the learning now is done online. But they can still use these tax credits to actually help get them qualified for. They can actually use these tax credits in 2021, or their parents can, and they still count as a tax credit on their tax return, even though they're learning or they're being educated online. They don't have to actually physically go into a classroom in order for their parents to get that tax credit on their for whatever the qualified tuition or expenses may be during this pandemic. So again, this is another opportunity for folks to kind of put money back in their pockets, but only if they know about it. All right. All right. Anybody else? You can jump in here.
Nothing in the queue event. I was wondering though, and I don't recall if there was we might have a slide on it later, but any maybe comments you might have on student loans and repayment. I know there's some things that happen this year as well, and potentially some of the folks on the call might have students in or know folks in positions where they're going to have to start repaying.
Yeah, so that while that's not an IRS thing, because I do have college students, I do know that the government actually gave different gave different student loan um, um, groups the opportunity, or the I don't know, they promoted and said that it would be a great idea if they would actually extend or suspend the payments as far as monthly payments on student loans. That if at first I think it was extended, I think it was like a 6-month period, and where you didn't have to make any payments on the student loans. Everything went down to like 0%. So if you, for example, if you made the monthly payments on your student loans right now, then you would be paying directly to the principal, because there is no interest being charged. And now they've extended that through the end of 2020, to where no payments are due. You won't be charged a late fee, and the interest, if you were to pay anything, is now at 0%. So for those of you who have students, or you have children of your own, and they have student loans, like I've told my girls, This is a great time to continue to make those payments because you're paying directly to principal, and none of this is going to go to the interest through the end of December. And I don't know if they're going to extend that beyond December 31st, 2020, but it would be great if they did, because this is an opportunity to get ahead and kind of knock some of those student loan payments out. Yeah. All right. Good question. All right. So I mentioned this just a little bit at the very beginning with the coronavirus, where we actually have an opportunity now for those who qualify to get an economic impact payment, or stimulus payments, as some refer to it. I think back in 2008 is when we were when President Obama actually had the stimulus payments that started. Well, for 2020, because of COVID-19, we are now given economic impact payments. And this started back in March, April of this year. And there are a lot of folks who received those economic impact payments, I think on the 15th of April. Millions and millions of folks actually received their payments. And they are basically something that there's some confusion about it. Some folks believe that these are payments that they're going to have to claim on their tax return in 2020 and pay taxes on them. So that is not true. That is a myth. The money that you received, if you received $1,200 or something less than that in the form of an economic impact payment, that money it will not be taxable. You won't have to pay taxes on it. And it is not, it's basically a rebate, if you will. It's an advance on a gift from the government from 2021 that the IRS, or the federal government, allowed you to receive in 2020. So basically, when you file your tax return in 2021, there's going to be a wash. While you're going to put the $1,200 on there, it's going to be backed out with the formula that's going to be implemented for these for 2021. So while you're going to have to show how much you received, you're not going to pay any taxes on that money. The good thing about showing the amount that you received is, if you received $1,000 and you should have received $1,200, when you file your tax return in 2021, you're going to get the difference of what you actually should have received. So you're going to get that $200. Okay. So again, no taxes will be paid on this money when you file your return in 2021. For those who are married filing joint, you would have received $2,400 unless you hit are beyond the threshold of $198,000 for a married filing joint couple. If you're an individual, you would have received up to $1,200. Again, there's a threshold where that $1,200 would be reduced if you made over the threshold. And then for those who have qualifying children under 17 years of age, then you could actually receive $500 for each of those children. Again, there are a lot of questions, a lot of confusion around these economic impact payments. But the bottom line I want you all to realize here is, number one, this money is not taxable. If you did not, number two, if you did not receive the full amount when you file your tax return in 2021, if you are eligible, you may be able to, you may see the difference in what you did not receive put into your on your tax return as far as a refund. If you are entitled to a refund in 2021 and you're entitled to an additional payment for the economic impact payment, then you will get two separate paychecks, two separate checks, whether it's a deposit or two separate deposits or two separate physical checks. You get one for the refund, one for the economic impact payment that you are entitled to. A lot of folks, again, are kind of confused about this, and now we are waiting on we're waiting on some folks to make some decisions so that we can see whether or not there's going to be a second stimulus while we work towards helping those folks who may be considered less fortunate, or who make a smaller dollar amount as far as of income, who would normally not have to file a tax return. Those folks are actually entitled to an economic impact payment as well, but they don't realize it. So again, we are looking to make sure everyone understands that this is something that if you are entitled to, please make sure you hold on to the information that you were given. Everyone who received an economic impact payment should have received a form 1444, and that's going to basically tell you this is how much you received, and just kind of hold on to this so that when you file your tax return next year, you'll know exactly how much to put on that return. Okay, and if you receive less, once again, then you will actually, you could qualify to get the difference in what you did not receive in that first paycheck. Matt?
Yeah, there's a couple of questions. I'm going to start off with potentially the easier one, and then I might ask
Okay.
Shantae to come off of mute and ask her question. But the first question, which is the second, is what's the threshold for individuals not married? And I think this is just the second part of the question. Can we deduct books or other expenses in continuing education?
Yeah. Okay. So the first part of that, for a single individual, and I'm going to ask you to go to our website to confirm this, but I believe it was $136,000 is the threshold for you. If you make over $136,000, then you would not have received that $1,200 at all. If you make under that, if you make $120,000, then it would be that $1,200 would be reduced. Okay, the beginning of that, if you make $75,000, then as a single individual, then you would be entitled to get the full $1,200. Anything over that, then that dollar amount is going to start going down. At $136,000, you bottom out, you get nothing.
And then the second part of that question about the books and other expenses for continuing education, are those deductible?
Are those deductible? I'm going to say that yes, they are, but it just, and well, maybe let me just put it this way. I'm going to say it depends on, and it depends on the other deductions that you may have. It depends on the other expenses that you paid. So unfortunately, I can't. Every individual, every answer is going to be a little bit different. It just depends on your circumstances.
Okay.
But
so Sharon,
the money, go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
No, but what I wanted to say is, hold on to anything and everything that you use, everything that you've paid in for your education. Hold on to all of those documents, all of those receipts, because that's what's going to help your tax preparer determine what you're eligible to deduct on your tax return. Okay, because remember now, we don't have the IRS eliminated with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. They actually eliminated exemptions, and now we have just have for example, for married filing jointly, your tax exemption is $24,000, or was, I think, for 2020, for 2019. I'm not sure what it was for if you were single. I think it was like 12,500 or something to that effect. But if you have itemized deductions that add up to more than that taxable, than that tax exempt amount, including those deductions, you may have for your for education expenses, then you can actually reduce your taxable income by a larger dollar amount. So that's why I'm saying to you, hold on to those receipts and all of that so that you can give that information to your tax preparer and possibly get have more that you can deduct from that bottom line so that your taxable income is reduced.
All right. And I think that answered her question because she said, thank you, that was helpful.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And then Shante, did you want to come off of mute? I can read it out if you prefer.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for being here. So basically, I was sharing that I'm a graduate student and I typically have filed my taxes on my own. I use the tax preparation services from Liberty Tax and Credit Karma, etc. And I was talking to someone about how I'm interested in purchasing a house next year and also investing in like penny stocks with the Fidelity. And she was saying that I need to find a CPA to start doing my taxes because people who invest and purchase homes are more likely to mess up and owe the IRS if you continue to self-file. So I just wanted to know your thoughts on should I have a professional person file my taxes now if I'm going to do those things?
Yeah, so this is how I'm going to answer that. Of course, it's going to be your preference, but we do have on our website a database, and that database is going to list tax preparers in your area based on their credentials, whether you're looking for someone who's an enrolled agent who has to go through and take a test to say that they can be an enrolled agent and practice before the IRS without any reservations. Or you can look for, even on that tax preparer database, we've got attorneys, accountants, those types of folks, or just regular tax return preparers who actually went through a credentialing process with the IRS. So for you, if you are uncomfortable or if things are changing and it's getting to be more than just I got a W-2 and some interest income, and you're not comfortable with that, because I will say this to you, when you have, no matter what software you use, you still need to have a baseline of understanding, because there could be, beyond messing up, there could be money that you could leave on the table. And if you've got a good tax preparer on your side, that tax preparer should be able to look at your information, get to know you, get to know what's happening in your life, and know that the tax laws have changed. Perhaps that will directly impact you and put more money into your pocket. So beyond messing it up, you could be leaving money on the table if there are tax laws that have changed to possibly give you a tax credit that you just don't know about, and you just didn't answer the question right in that particular software. So does that make sense?
If she doesn't come off mute, I think it does because she said thank you.
Yes, it does. It makes sense. I just
Okay.
wanted to get your idea. I have heard that some people have ended up owing IRS even though they use the tax preparer, but there's like a statute of limitations, and usually those individuals help them deal with the I guess audit. But I'm going to look into it. So thank you. I'll look at the website for someone.
You're welcome. And let me just say again, when you go to our website at irs.gov, you're looking for preparer database. So do a search of preparer database, and that will lead you to that link that I'm talking about. And you can search for preparer based on the zip code, or if someone gives you a name, you can search for that particular person's name, and that database will just give you a little blurb about who they are, what their specialties are. Because the other thing I want to say about a preparer is you don't want just anyone. You want to make sure that the person that you hook your wagon to, if you will, they know what's in your best interest. For example, if you start a business and that business deals with cupcakes, you want to make sure you find someone who can speak to a business that handles cupcakes, and they may know of some type of I don't know, utensil discounts you can get from the IRS. You want to know that the person that you connect with is someone that you can ask questions of and someone who is reputable, which is why I'm sending you to our prepared database, and someone who's going to have your back. And basically, if you were to owe or be audited, they would be able to represent you before the IRS. Enrolled agents can do that. Attorneys, accountants, with the right documents, they can do that. Okay, so thank you for that question. All right, Matt,
Yep.
anything else?
Nope. I was about to say that's it. Nothing else in queue.
All right. Okay. So keep with kind of staying with the economic impact payment. While there are those who actually received those payments, there are about 9 million of those folks out there who don't even realize that they could actually qualify for this economic impact payment. $1,200, $2,400, that's a lot of money to, again, leave on the table. So the IRS is doing a mad dash right now. And I was actually given an update to this information to now, because we are still struggling to reach those folks who would be considered non-filers. And those non-filers are typically folks who may be married, filing, and who may be a married couple, but their income together is less than $2,400, or they could be a single individual and their income, that individual's income is less than $12,200. Those individuals, while they would not normally file a tax return, they are still entitled to an economic impact payment. And back in September, the IRS sent out letters to these 9 million non-filers, and they were trying to get them to actually go online and use our non-filer tool to enter their information. And it's just some basic information that they would actually know, their name, social security number, so on and so forth, so that the IRS can flag them and do some research to see if they qualify to receive this economic impact payment. Earlier this morning, they sent out an update, and basically they've extended the October 15th date where folks can go on and use that non-filer tool. They've extended that to November 21st. Because again, although we sent out these 9 million letters, there are so many folks, there's so many of those letters that came back, they were returned. So we are still doing our best to reach those folks, and they may be homeless. They may be those who are displaced for one reason or another. There may be someone in a home who's actually taken care of by someone else, and the information just did not get to them. There are many different reasons why they are non-filers and why we haven't been able to get to them. But again, if you, I don't know what everyone's specialty is on the line, but if you are in a field, or if you're affiliated with any group or organization who may actually speak to or work with folks who may fit into this category, please share this information with them or reach out to me so that we can kind of get them on the right path, so that they can actually take advantage of this economic impact payment, because we'd hate for them to miss out on it just because they did not know that they were actually entitled to this. Okay. So we've got a lot of messages, a lot of information available to all different groups, whether you are tax exempt or you're in different industries, small businesses, nonprofits, tax professionals. We've got a lot of information that we share on a regular basis. And because the IRS is trying its best to get the information out as it happens as quickly as possible to those folks who actually need it, we've actually joined a lot of the social media platforms that you see on the screen right now. Again, this is all in an effort to get up-to-date current information out to those folks who need it as quickly as possible. And I love to say we have a Facebook page. Go online and like us if you will. We'd appreciate it. Give me a shout out, hashtag Yvette. I'm just kidding. Don't shout me out. Just don't. Okay. So there is just so many platforms out there, and we're trying to use as many platforms as possible to shout out the messages that we have that could put money in your pocket, that could save you money, that could help you grow your businesses, that could help you with your those folks who may be donors, and if for your nonprofit, we've got information that's going out on a daily basis. So please, please, please consider checking out any information that we have through any of these social media platforms. We would greatly appreciate it. And the last slide I have is about our webinars. So we have national webinars going on throughout the year because of, and they've grown a lot this year because of COVID-19, just like everyone else. We've had to do a lot of things virtually. We have webinars going on specifically for businesses. We've actually got a webinar this afternoon for some tax professionals. But again, if you go to our website at www.irs.gov and put in the search engine webinars for businesses or just webinars, you'll see what we've got coming up. And you can feel free to register to attend any of those webinars. And I've actually got some listed on our website right now, but these, and the webinars, but they're with the State Department for North Carolina. I believe they're North Carolina folks is going to be on there. But again, all of our webinars that you can attend, whether you're in North Carolina, South Carolina, wherever, feel free to go to our website, type in webinars for businesses to find out what we've got coming up. And then we've also got a video portal, and we've got over 150 IRS videos on those portals. And there are messages there for nonprofits, charities, small businesses, large businesses, individuals, corporations, S corporations. There's a ton of information, a ton of videos there with a lot of information from subject matter experts. As I mentioned in the beginning, I know a lot about a little bit about a lot. If there are any questions out there, I would love to see if I can help you out. And even beyond today, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I would love to be able to help you even beyond this platform. So with that, I'll give it back to you, Matt.
Thank you. Well, I think the hashtag Yvette Davis is amazing. Is okay, and I'd encourage everyone to use that when you go out and mention this session. So thank you very much, Yvette. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And to all the folks on the call, how about maybe just another 30 seconds? I'll see if anything comes into the Zoom chat. I'll give everyone a couple seconds to type if you're in the middle of typing. Oh, there you go. So what is the best way to reach out to Yvette? It says.
Oh, all right. That would be good to know, wouldn't it? All right. It's my name, Evette. Should I put it in the chat?
Yeah. Do you have that up, or I can type it for you?
It's Evette.Davis@irs.gov. Yvette.Davis@irs.gov.
There you go. Thank you, Ray. It looks like someone is jumping off. Yeah, and it doesn't look like any questions coming in, but how about another maybe 30 seconds? If you'd like to unmute your mic, I'll pause for 30 seconds while you find that mute button.
I have a quick question. This is Ray.
Yes.
Hey, Ray.
You talked about trying to find people that make less than $12,000, I believe, per year.
Yes.
They have to make. Is there a minimum amount of income they have to make in order to qualify for that?
No, anything under, if they're an individual and they make under $12,200 gross.
Mhm. But if they're like an adult child with some sort of disability living with their parents, I work a lot with the refugee community, and so
I'm sorry, you work with who?
with the refugee community,
Oh,
I
okay,
volunteer
okay.
with refugees, and so I'm asking them,
Yes.
like some of them are just home.
Hmm. Yeah. So an individual would qualify if they make under $12,200 and they are not a dependent of someone else. If they are
Okay.
not a dependent of someone else, then that's who I'm talking about, and they can actually use that non-filer tool to let the IRS know that they may qualify for that economic impact payment.
Okay. All right. That makes
Yes,
sense.
that's
Okay.
exactly the person I'm talking about. That's a great example.
Okay. And then I've got one more quick question.
Uh-huh.
It has to do with this was alluded to by Shantae, which had to do with, let's say you're dabbling in stocks, and I've done this before. These how-to videos, are those, do they talk about anything like that as far as IRS rules?
The how-to videos. Do we
Yeah,
have how-to videos?
yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
What we have as far as that could qualify probably as how-to is how to start a business, how to maintain a business, how to grow a business. So we do have a 9-lesson video for small businesses, and I think that's probably the only quote unquote how-to video we have. Beyond that, the only other thing we have is in relation to the new Form W-4, and I don't know if you're interested in that or not, but yeah. So the how-to videos, we do have that, the 9 lessons for small businesses, and that is what we encourage folks who are looking to start a business, that they go on and they kind of jump on that webinar or that video so that they can kind of follow the IRS's requirements so that they're not scared out of their minds with starting a business. All right, and it even kind of goes, it even goes into retirement, how to choose the right retirement platform for their business. It talks about business entities, the type of entities that there are available to choose from. Talks about business organization, record keeping, how to access more information about, if you choose a certain filing requirement, what's expected of you. So yeah, so we've got information like that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. This has been very helpful.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the
And,
question.
and then Yvette, maybe the last question, there was I think someone had stepped away, but there was just maybe a quick recap on if someone had to pull from their 401k during the pandemic.
Yeah. So, okay. So that's a great question. So what's happened with that is, now if you have to take money out of your 401k, your 401, is it 401, 403, 401k and the
It,
403c? I might be
yeah, they
getting the
had,
numbers mixed
yeah,
up.
they had
Yeah.
specifically said 401k.
Yes. Okay. So you can actually take up to $100,000 out of that 401k. And actually, when you file your tax return for the next 3 years, if you split that $100,000 up between those 3 years, you can pay it back over a period of 3 years, and you will not be penalized. You know, that early withdrawal, that 10% penalty, you won't be penalized that 10%. So you can take out up to $100,000 of your 401k, and you won't be penalized that 10% penalty that you normally get hit with. And as far as paying it back is concerned, again, you can take that $100,000, split it over 3 years, and you won't be penalized that 10% penalty.
Yep.
So a lot of folks are doing that because a lot of folks are hurting and they need those funds now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that answered the question. So thank
Good.
you. And then there was just one question, so I'll just repeat that one. But Yvette, this one I think I can get is there will the recording be available? And yes, the recording will be available.
Oh,
And
okay.
I believe Terry will be sending out the link to the replay as soon as it's available.
Awesome.
All right. Any last questions? Nothing else coming into the queue? Again, I'll pause 30 seconds to find that mute button if you'd like to unmute. Otherwise, maybe we can. Yeah, it looks like folks are dropping off. So I think, Yvette, that's it. Thank you very much. Thanks, Ray, for staying. And actually, Ray
Thank
just left,
you.
so it's just the three of us.